not rush to your death. And that means to take a breath, look around, make a good, thoughtful call for those on your left and right. That's what you owe them. That's what you owe their families. That's what you owe the mission. And instead, what happened at a strategic level as we got down to these final days in Afghanistan is we rushed to our death. And that's why so many Americans who never had any touch point with the military whatsoever could apply a bit of common sense to what they were seeing on television and start asking questions. Why did we give up Bagram? Why did we put our service members at a tactically disadvantageous position at the Kabul airport, which resulted, unfortunately, in those deaths at Abbey Gate? And to say nothing of those who are still dealing with those the physical wounds of that day and the emotional wounds of that day. We rushed to our death at the end. It was unnecessary. We had 20 years to learn lessons, and we neglected to do that. We didn't even go back to the Soviet experience in Afghanistan. We didn't go back to the British experience. We didn't even have to go back to Genghis Khan or Alexander the Great. We had our own 20 years of experience in Afghanistan, and we neglected to apply those lessons to our withdrawal, and it really is unforgivable, as is the accountability. We have seen over that 20 years, zero accountability from our senior leaders, and that continues to this day. They have all failed upward.
Yeah, Jack, I know you've spoken and written a lot about this and about how, especially in recent history, and you're a student of history and a prolific reader and author, how general officers are no longer held accountable. As you say, they are promoted upward. What do you say to the families who are looking for that accountability as we wrap up here?
Well, that's what we owe not just those families, but future generations as well. If we fail to take these lessons and apply those lessons going forward as wisdom, then those deaths have been in vain. So that's what we really owe them, is to apply those lessons going forward as wisdom. But we can look back. We can look back to what was our country like before 1947 and after 1947. We stopped holding our senior military leaders accountable for whatever reason after World War II. George Marshall did it before World War II, all through World War II, put those generals and admirals, all those names that we know today as those who led us to victory, we all know those names. After World War II, we stopped firing those admirals and those generals who didn't measure up for whatever reason, and that continues today. And that's going to have to change if we want the populace, the citizens, to trust in our military leadership.
And the results speak for themselves. Jack, thank you for your service, your leadership, and your voice. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much.
Sports leagues around the world are now allowing biological males to compete against biological females, all in the name of trans rights. I'm really looking forward to our next guest. UFC champion Carr is one of the few female athletes who's willing to stand up and say something about this. She'll be joining us in just a few minutes.
Hello, I'm Mark Spitz, 9-time Olympic gold medalist and world record breaker. Over my career, I set 35 world records. All told, my swimming took me further than the distance around the Earth.